All right, you guys, so our smart home studio is almost done. As you guys can see, we did a ton of renovations. It looks amazing in here. I'd say we're about like 90% done, not counting the gamer's paradise, but it's looking good in here. Problem is, it's just a bunch of dudes. And we're grinding over here, right? And we're not always focused on like the cleanup part of the studio, which is why we got this guy over here, the eufy E25. So we're pretty familiar with eufy's robot vacuums. We've got the S1 Pro upstairs in the entertainment room. And eufy was down to sponsor today's video and send us a robot vacuum for the first floor. So we figured we'd stick with the same brand, use the same app throughout the studio. So that's why we went with the eufy E25, which happens to be the world's first robot vacuum with a hydrojet system. So that's gonna take care of the entire first floor. All right, here we are. We've got everything we need to get this thing set up. Let's get this going. Now, first of all, don't judge the background. We're not done yet. A lot of this has changed. What you guys are gonna see in this video, a lot of it is still kind of under wraps, not all done. Like I said, 90%. But over here, we've got everything that we need to get this thing up and running. So let's go ahead and let's find a spot. Like, should we put it in the kitchen? I feel like that's a good spot for it, right? In the corner. All right, so that's a good spot. I mean, we got the B-roll room too. No, I don't think in here. We could do nah, you guys wouldn't want that in here at your feet doing all kinds of crazy cleaning while you're chopping and stuff. But yeah, I think that's the best spot. So in this video, you guys are probably gonna see a lot of what we got going on the first floor, like a behind the scenes of the final product. But I think this is good. Now, inside of the box, you get everything you need, and it's a really simple setup process. You basically get your docking station together, add some clean water and the solution that's included for mopping, and you're pretty much good to go. Okay, that was grand. All right, you guys, so we've got the E25 set up. It's currently updating, but let's talk about why this thing is actually pretty cool. So like I mentioned before, it is the first ever robot vacuum with a hydrojet system. Basically what that means is the roller that it uses to mop up the floors, it'll be cleaning itself in real time. And because it's got this crazy hydrojet system, it should be even able to take out like really tough stains. So even if Gene drops some ketchup on the floor and obviously gets on the roller, it shouldn't have a hard time getting that out. So that's great for the mop side of things, but this is a robot vacuum, right? And on the suction side of things, this thing has an insane 20,000 pascals of suction power. And for the folks out there who have no idea what that spec means, it has insanely strong suction power. So with all that in mind, it should be really good at its job. But I think one of my favorite things about it is that it has this corner rover arm. You guys might've seen it pop out when it was turning itself on. And that's to help it get like those really tight corners, the really tight edges that a lot of robot vacuums struggle with. But all right, let's go ahead and map out the studio. We should probably get out of its way. Now this is actually pretty cool because it detected all of the different sections on the first floor. We got the A-roll set, we've got our kitchen, mudroom, little hallway area, editing room, another hallway, and we've got the B-roll room. And that's cool because in the app, I can go ahead and rename all of the different sections. I can call this the A-roll set. I'm gonna do that for all of them. Room 2 is B-roll room. Save changes, yes. Now the E25 is equipped with eufy's AIC technology and an RGB visual recognition system so that it can help it identify and avoid over 200 objects. So if you happen to leave a pair of socks lying around, you don't have to worry that this thing will suck it up and just get destroyed. It'll know to avoid it and continue cleaning around it. It's also equipped with LiDAR, so it can do laser navigation so it knows exactly where it is, and it actually helps to map out the floor so it knows its exact position in your room and the things around it and how to go about its route for cleaning. Now that kind of system also helps with its smart dirt detection, which recognizes over 30 different stain types, and it adjusts the cleaning accordingly based on what it sees. And what's actually kind of cool here is that it'll develop a report to let you know the stains that it encountered and where you have them. So there are no surprises after it does its thing, which is helpful because maybe the kids spilled something and you weren't aware. This thing will go about cleaning it and letting you know where it found it. So now that we're all set up and good to go, we might as well have it get to work. And you know what's gonna be great? With all the stuff that we track in from out here in the deck, it'll be able to clean that up really easily since it's right in its vicinity. And the mopping performance of the E25 is actually really good. You can see how it does with big spills here, whether it's something with a thick consistency or maybe something with like a deep color. It handles it all really well with no residue on our floors. That's supposed to be like the bread and butter of this hydrojet system and that turbo suction. And even the roller mop is supposed to mimic hand scrubbing movements, so it'll be able to remove tough stains effortlessly. And I had to test this out myself, so I let some ketchup sit out on my wooden floors, and as scary as that was, I had hope that the E25 would be able to handle it. Thankfully, it didn't disappoint. Now, we don't really have to worry about it here, but the E25 is also equipped with duo spiral brushes, which are able to automatically detangle and remove hair from the vacuum. So the two brushes are actually gap-free during the cleaning process, and they separate during the docking process, and the hair gets sucked into the dust bag. This is gonna be great whenever Ari comes over here because, my goodness, I'm not gonna get myself in trouble, but I'd probably be better off bringing this thing home. Because honestly, cleaning out hairs is one of the worst vacuum ownership experiences ever. So I'm glad this is something we really have to worry about over here, especially since this thing has that insane suctioning power. And speaking of suctioning power, we already talked about how wild 20,000 pascals of power is, but it's actually really impressive to see it in action. Like for our carpets, even fine debris or dirt is able to get picked up, which means it's really getting in there. It also intelligently increases the suction power whenever it detects that it's on carpet to make sure it takes advantage of all the power only when it really needs to, which helps with battery life and overall noise. And if it was just mopping, it'll of course also intelligently raise the roller to make sure the carpet doesn't get wet. And really, shout out to the little corner rover arm. It's actually really useful for those corners to just see it pop out and be able to extend the brushes and grab whatever it needs to. I've never seen that done on a robot vacuum before, and I can already see how useful that is. All right, guys, so we let it run overnight, and we are genuinely impressed. It did a really good job in here. Like, it looks like somebody cleaned up.
Yeah, it looks clean. It looks clean in here. Yeah, do you have to give this back? No? Okay. Good.
Now, my concern with robot vacuums, considering my line of work, are always cables. And you guys can see, like over here, we've got power cables, we've got cables over here. I mean, it's able to go under here and like more cables. And honestly, like in this room, there's cables everywhere. So, you know, it's just the nature of the beast in which we work. And that's always a big concern for me. I always try to make sure the cables are off the floor, not in the way of the vacuum. But luckily, the OMNI E25 has this AIC feature that lets it detect over 200 objects and avoid them, and cables obviously is one of them. And I know this for a fact because if you look at the map, you can actually zoom in and you can see where it detected certain things. So we've got cables over here, we got a garbage bin over here, cables, a base. It even detected the power cable next to the charging station. So the thing is legit. And if you're worried about this running at night and not being able to detect those, it actually has a built-in LED so that it can still detect things even though it's nighttime. It'll still be able to see everything right in front of it. And it's crazy because you could actually tap in and see what it recognizes. So the AI recognition, electrical wires, accuracy, about 62%. It recognizes a base so that it doesn't get stuck on the base. 77% accuracy. That's really solid. And the fact that we didn't come in here this morning and kind of find it just stuck somewhere, that's how it should be. But if you want even more than that, check out the eufy E28. This one includes a portable deep cleaner for areas the vacuum can't reach. But if you're on a budget or you don't need the deep cleaner, you get the same power and features as the E28 with this E25 at a lower price. And you know the deal. We're gonna have links down below in the description for you guys to check it out. But this thing has definitely earned a spot in the studio.